Hey guys, Cal from Nightfall Productions here, and in this tutorial I will be focusing on the basic interface of After Effects. So let's get started. Come up to here to composition, make a new comp, just have it half 720p resolution at the moment. Focus on these in a later tutorial. So what this does is just creates the comp. Now, so in this tutorial I'll be focusing on what these do and the basic interface. So let's start off. To do this demonstration I'll need to make two solids. Doesn't matter what color, so let's just make a red. We'll have it that size. Make another solid. We'll put that below. Actually scale that up a bit. Okay, so starting off we'll focus on the selection tool. Command for that is V, that's the shortcut, and what this tool lets you do is move stuff around. So depending on what layer you have selected, it will move said layer. So say I don't like the positioning of this red solid, I'll just maybe move it around here, or you can also scale the said layer. And so that's what this tool does, and the shortcut for that again is V. The next tool we'll be looking at is the hand tool, and the shortcut for that is, as you can see, H. What the hand tool does, lets you move around your comp, and this is most useful when you can't see the whole comp. Say you're zoomed in, so you can't see the whole comp. This lets you move around the comp without actually moving the layers. Now there's multiple ways to get to this tool. You can either hold down the middle mouse button and that will let you pivot around just like if you had the tool selected. The upside to this though is when you release, it'll go back to your previous tool selected, so it'll go back to my selection tool. Another way is if for some reason you don't have a scroll wheel on your mouse, is holding down the space bar. This will do the same thing as the holding down of the middle mouse, so that when you release it, it'll go back to your previous tool. Okay, so that is the hand tool. The next tool I'm going to show you is one that personally I don't use that often because you can do it from down here, but it is the zoom tool. Once again, you can see the shortcut to it is Z or Z, depending where you are from and how you pronounce it, and this allows you to zoom in and zoom out of your comp. And to zoom out, you have to hold Alt. Another way this tool can work is, say you have some sort of layer or element here that in this corner that you want to zoom up on. You can hold down the mouse and select it, and it will zoom to the appropriate size so you can see the most of that selected area. So let's zoom back out to 100%. Get this back centered using the hand tool. Okay, so that is the zoom tool. The next tool is the rotation tool. What this allows you to do is rotate objects. Say you want it on an angle, and as you're rotating, if you want it to go to a specific point, say I want it straight up, it can be quite challenging to get it perfectly straight unless you use the shift tool, which rotates it at 45-degree intervals, so you can get that straight up vertical or side or 45-degree angle. So that's useful if you have a set point that you want it to go to and you don't want to look really closely at your screen and go pixel by pixel. So that's useful for that. Okay, next tool we're going to look at is the unified camera tool. Now this only is useful when you have a camera in your scene and 3D elements. So I'll make these two solids 3D for the moment. We'll bring this red one forward, and what this tool lets you do is move around your 3D scene. So you can see that I'm orbiting around my scene so I can see the layout of my 3D objects. So that's what that does, but we don't really need to focus on that right now. It will come in a later tutorial, a more advanced one. So we'll make sure these are back to 2D. The next tool is the pan behind tool, and what this tool allows us to do is move the pivot and scale point of a layer. So if I don't move it and go back to my selection tool, which is V, it will scale, the layer will scale around that point, and if I go to my rotation tool, W, it will rotate around that point. But with the pan behind tool, I can change that rotation and scale point to anywhere. So say I want it to scale from that corner or rotate from there. So now, when I scale it, it will scale from that corner. Or when I rotate it, it will rotate around that point. Okay, so that was the pan behind tool. The next tool is the rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, all these tools. So basically what this is used for is, if you have a layer selected, it is used for creating masks on that layer. So you just click and drag. But say you don't want to make a mask, you just want to make a shape. Make sure you unselect any layers and select the shape you want to make. Say I want to make a star. Now you just click and drag, and that will make a shape layer. And you have to be careful that you don't have a layer selected, otherwise it will make a mask. So that is what the shape layers tools are used for. The next tool, whoops, I'm going to show you is very similar, apart from just lets you be a little more creative. You make the shape. There's no predefined shapes. So right now I'm making my own shape layer because I don't have any other layers selected. So it's made this shape layer. Or like the other tool, if you have a layer selected, you can make a mask. But we don't want to do that. Let me just get rid of these masks. Okay, so that is the pen tool. Very similar to this tool, apart from adds a little more flexibility in the shapes. The last tool up here I'm going to show you in this tutorial is the horizontal type tool. So basically this tool is used for making text boxes like you would in Word, or if you're on a Mac, Pages. So that just creates the box where you will put your text. So we'll delete that, and I'll do a quick run through of all the shortcuts for these tools. So for the selection tool, it's V. For the hand tool, it's H. For the zoom tool, it's Z or Z. For the rotation tool, it's W. For the camera tool, or the unified camera, it is C. And something I should point out is, if the tool has this little corner piece, it means there are multiple different tools contained in that one tool. So, and to get to those, you hold down the button and you can select the tool you want, or you can push the shortcut multiple times until you get to that tool. So for that tool it's C, and for the pan behind tool it is Y, and for the shape tool it is Q. So once again, cycle through it by pressing Q multiple times. The next tool is the pen tool, which once again you can cycle through, and that shortcut is G. The last tool is the text tool, and that shortcut is Control T or Command T on a Mac. So those are some of the tools you'll be using when you use After Effects. The next part I'm going to focus on in the interface is the project section of After Effects, and this is where all your different layers and compositions are stored. So you can see my red and white solids are in the solids folder, and if I select the comp, if I made a new solid and made it a dark color, a dark red as it would say, it will now be in that solid folder, and any new layer or footage or pictures you drop into your comp will be located here. And you can sort it by making folders and putting certain elements into the folders just to tidy up the area. So you can do that. So that's basically what this is for. It tells you the name, tells you what type it is, what type of element it is. You can change the color for better organization, so I could arrange it by color, arrange it by type or name. So that is what that area is used for, pretty much. The next one I'll go into is the comp section, and what this is depending on what comp you're in, it will display what layers / elements it has in it. So you can see all the different elements I have in this composition, and what it allows you to do is get quick access to them, commands, change certain switches or modes. So I can make certain elements 3D, I can apply motion blur to certain things, and so that is what this box is for. You can also change the layering of stuff. Say I want this red solid over this dark, you just put it over top and that will change the ordering and layers. So that's what that does. This block here, this section right here, is pretty basic. It's just the view of what the comp looks like. So it's just a window you can change depending on how fast your computer is and how quick you want the rendering time to be. Change the resolution, and this is pretty self-explanatory. I won't bother explaining that. Just that is in relation to if you have text. Same with this box here. Effects and presets is just a quick way to find effects for your elements or layers. The preview box here is quite important when you want to view your composition in real time, and to do that you RAM preview it, and that will go through your comp and render all the frames in your work area, which is this. And you can select the frame rate at which it plays back. You can tell it to skip some frames. You can choose what resolution to render it at if you need it to render quicker. So that is what this does. And the info box right here just tells you basic information, your mouse coordinates and your color. So that's very basic stuff. So that's a quick overview of the layout in After Effects, and I will be doing more basic tutorials and going a little more in depth into each tool and what it does. And to stay updated, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nightfall Productions, and that will keep you up to date on new videos we release. Also, you could go to our website, nightfallpro.weebly.com, and this contains our most recent short videos, our most recent quick effects, most recent blogs, and most recent tutorials. You can also go to more specific areas and say you want to see more tutorials, you can go to our tutorial page and see our most recent tutorials, or if they are no longer there, you'll see the links to them down here. You can sort them by basics, advanced, or video effects tutorials. So yeah, make sure you check this out. It's a great place that combines all our videos into an easy to find format. So thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope you enjoy this and the future tutorials to come.